All right, everybody. Welcome to the Monday night live stream. We are here talking about setting goals and growth and expansion. So, welcome to the Monday night 7 o'clock stream. We're here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And since we just started 20 minutes ago, we're going to let a few people get on because the notifications sometimes, this time the notification came in much quicker than usual.
Oh, good.
So, that's good. So, we're here. Greg is on the road, so he's not at his usual filming bunker.
And I'm expecting my dinner to be delivered, so I may have to take a break. Get my dinner.
Last week, I had to take a break to get the cat out of the sink,
Yes.
and this time
And you
you're going
might
to
have
take
to do that again. You never
I
know.
might. I don't know. He's rooting around somewhere right now, and you might have to take a break to get your food on. So that's good. So again, every Monday, 7 o'clock, we have a live stream, and next week I am setting up having a guest with me. So that will be exciting. And hello, Chris. We've got a comment from Chris in the chat. Welcome to the live stream, Chris.
Chris, our newest client,
Our
domestic
newest,
Chris.
that's right, our newest client.
Yep.
Welcome to the live. Another announcement that I have while people still get on and whatnot, for those of you that are early, is Wednesday. The YouTube video that we have coming out is a special video. It is actually a subscriber giveaway that we're doing. So we're going to be giving away a copy of Fun at Work that is signed by Greg, a copy of Profit First, which is which is authored by Mike Michalowicz, the author of that book, as well as two of our
The Profit First is autographed
yeah,
by the
also
author.
autographed,
Also
two
autographed by the author.
two autographed books, as well as two courses that we sell on our website: How to Sell Anything and How to Control Your Income. Those are two courses. We value those at $350, and also you'll get a 30-minute business chat with Greg and myself. So that is going to be a giveaway that is starting on Wednesday. So be sure Wednesday morning you have your bell notification clicked, because it's going to be about a 10-day. I think we have it technically 9 days is technically how long the ability to enter is. So you'll learn all about that on Wednesday, and make sure that you follow the channel to get your possible winnings. So tonight, Greg, you're out on the road. So for a little while, a couple of these live streams are going to be with you on the move.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about tonight as far as setting goals, growth, etc.? Where do we pick up from here? Because as usual, we are unscripted and just roll with the punches.
Well, in some circles, it's a bit of a controversial subject to even set a goal. And, there's different viewpoints. Well, you don't want to set a goal because then if you don't make it, everybody feels bad. And then if you're going to set a goal, then you have to set it high enough so that when you win, it's really magnificent and awesome, and people are surprised that they even did it or whatever. And so there's a couple of basics that I really want to go over tonight, because it sounds kind of crazy, but as of like May the 8th or 9th, I forget the exact day, in 1981, I would have graduated from dental school 40 years ago, which sounds incredibly ridiculous that it was 40 years. But the reason I'm saying that is I've been at this business game for a long time. And I'll just tell you, there has to be a goal. There has to be a game. And so I would vehemently disagree with those who say, well, you don't set a goal because if you don't hit it, people feel bad. And just imagine, like we just played the Super Bowl, a little over a week ago. Just imagine playing the Super Bowl and there was no scoreboard. And there was just confusion. And there was no Lombardi trophy. There was no ring for the winner. And nobody would show up for the game, including the players.
Right.
So a goal,
Well, at that point, it wouldn't be a game, right? If there
right? There would
wasn't,
be no game.
right?
There would be no game. And so, I've had I've had games in my businesses, and then I've had times when I didn't have games. And if you ever get to the point where you feel like you're just kind of going through the motions, where you're working super hard, maybe you're staying late, going in on your days off, working through lunch, and it's just kind of like you go from home to work and work to home and home to work and work to home. And then, there's Manic Monday, and Wednesday is now hump day because, you're halfway through the week, you're over the hump. And then, TGIF, got to hit that happy hour at 4 o'clock on Friday. And it's just like, that's no life as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. That's just as terrible as it could actually get. So, number one for me is there has to be a goal, and the goal is what makes it a game. And there's 32 NFL teams, and at the end of the season, you have 31 unhappy teams. But then the draft, now they're getting ready for the draft, and everybody is thinking now about which free agents can we get, who are we going to draft, what position, so that we have a chance to win the Super Bowl. And everybody goes to camp in August talking about winning the Super Bowl. Or if it's not winning the Super Bowl, they're not in that category. They haven't made the playoffs in 10 years. So how are we going to make the playoffs? So that's always the game. And so as far as I'm concerned, there has to be a goal. And that's what makes it a game. Then the other, and I don't know if you want to chip in on that at all, Neil. I mean,
Well, I'll just say, it's kind of like there has to be an end reason for doing something, right?
mhm.
And so you're going down the view of, okay, well, some people don't want a goal because they don't want pressure or they don't want the stress of having to do a specific target,
That's exactly what I'm
right?
talking about. Yeah.
So I think that that's really the difference between an entrepreneur and an employee. Um, you know, you go get a job at any number of companies, the government, the post office, whatever, and just put your hours in, get your benefits package, get your paycheck every week, guaranteed, very little risk of losing your job, you know, and then after 25 years you retire and get your gold watch and your benefits package and that's it.
And then you can start to live. Then you'll have free time. Then you have money. And so,
Yeah.
like, you're grinding through 25, 35, I don't know, maybe more years, so that when you hit age 65, you can start to live. Like, oh my God, that's I just turned 65, and the last 40 years for me have been a blast. Now, was it all like sunshine and roses? Of course not. But my life is always a game.
Well, it's sort of the difference between, like you said, okay, the Super Bowl comes and goes, and there's 31 unhappy teams at the end of every year because they're not happy with how they did. I mean,
Yeah,
even the team that finishes last with only one win thinks, man, we could have got a second win. You
exactly.
know, it's
Yeah,
not like, every team is going into the year thinking we're a Super Bowl contender,
right.
right? But they at least have a goal of progression upwards that they want to hit and they want to
Yeah.
do.
Last year we won 7 games. This year we want to win 9.
Yeah.
So just something like that. And
There has
and
to be a goal of some sort to reach for and attain.
yeah,
And that's why you do it.
yeah,
You're going to be on that team and you're going to know that you're going to lose 14 games. And some of them you're going to be laughed at in the media, but you win. We always see it when that team wins one game, like they've won the one game of the year and they celebrate like they won the Super Bowl,
exactly.
and
It
you're like,
was their
dude,
Super Bowl.
yeah. For them, that was the Super Bowl,
Right,
but that was the goal going into the season was to win
right.
that one game. It wasn't they knew they weren't going to win 2 games or 3 games. It was like
Yeah,
if we can win one game, we're going to be good. But there's at least a goal to shoot for and not just like, well, if we score a touchdown today, that'd be good, and you can go into business with it from different viewpoints. And
Right.
that's the difference between winning the Lombardi trophy and winning a participation trophy.
Hmm.
And, that is one of those hot topics because people are like, well, I want my kids to play sports and feel like they're achieving something and they are doing it for a reason, not just to get the same reward as everybody else has gotten
Right.
in the whole league. You're trying to teach kids the idea of striving for goals, for accomplishing something, and you have to be willing to fail. I
Hmm.
mean, you don't really understand what winning's all about until you totally screw something up, and then you
Yeah.
sit there and go, "Wow, this feeling sucks."
That's right. That's right. And you talk about the difference between the owner and the employees. It's the owner's job to make sure the employees are having fun. It's the owner's job to make sure that there's a game.
Right,
And so that's on the owner.
right,
And so basically when there's a goal, then there has to be immediately attached to that goal like some sort of a reward. And so
sure.
we're going to work hard and we're going for this goal. And if we achieve that goal, then there's a reward. So everybody works hard to win the Super Bowl, and then the picture that's always on the cover of Sports Illustrated or the newspaper is somebody holding the trophy up. I mean, the Lightning just won the Stanley Cup. And you take that Stanley Cup, the team captain is the first one to go, and you 35-pound trophy lifted over their head, and they skate around the rink. That's part of the reward. That's part of doing it and working your guts out for the season. So yes, as an owner, you have to set the goal and there has to be a reward. Now, the reward does not have to be a gazillion dollars. And I've mentioned this before on one or two of our YouTube videos. In the dental practice, I don't remember exactly what the game was. There was something that we had gotten lazy and sloppy on, and I, I don't even recall what it was. But
Right.
I set the goal that if this month we hit X amount of whatever, I asked the staff what they wanted, and they said they wanted blizzards at Dairy Queen because it was a thing.
Well,
Like on,
remember, this is like 1991 in a small town in Indiana where Dairy Queen was like the
it was a
only
big
cool
deal.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It was a big deal. It was either
Yeah.
that or McDonald's or Pizza Hut or the Ponderosa Steakhouse. We weren't even cool enough back then to have a Walmart. We had a Kmart. So anyway, I asked what they wanted, and they said blizzards at Dairy Queen. And it was July or August. It was some hot time, and it was really funny. By golly, we hit the monthly goal with 1 week to go, and everybody knew that we were going to hit the goal. And so one staff member was designated that day. Okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to have blizzards. And so as soon as we hit that goal, I didn't even know it. Somebody leaves the office, goes to Dairy Queen, gets everybody, their Snickers blizzard or whatever it was. And I look around the office and everybody's got blizzards. I'm like, oh, we must have hit the goal. But that's what this is about. It's about it being fun. And so,
And also, I just want to say one thing before I forget. You said
yeah.
something a few minutes ago, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but you said, it's the owner's job to set the goal and have fun, right?
Hmm.
The core aspect of a team is having people who want to play the same game and have the same goal.
Yep.
Because if you hire one person who's like, a blizzard,
Right.
I'm not doing that for a blizzard,
Exactly.
then all of a sudden everybody else comes down a little bit too. And
Hmm.
so you have to have everybody on that same team of that goal, whichever goal it is, whether it's a blizzard. I mean, we've had clients who have taken people and their families on cruises and, you know,
I
trips
did
all
that.
over the
Yeah.
world and, all that kind of stuff. We're talking about
Yeah.
like, okay, this week we're trying to do X, Y, and Z and we're going
Right.
to have lunch,
Or this month we're going to do this. Or we
whatever it
even
is.
had one. We had one quarterly game we were south of South Bend, and there was a really awesome mall in South Bend called University Mall. And so if we hit a particular target for the quarter, everybody got, I forget what it was. I think it was $250. And again, this is like, I don't know, 1990 or whatever. Um, and so then we hit the goal, obviously, we hit the goal. And then on Friday, we took uh, two van loads, so to speak, the whole staff. One staff member brought the truck, the family truck, because she was buying a barbecue grill. And so we all went to the mall and spent a couple of hours, and everybody spent their money. And then at lunch, I bought lunch, and everybody sat down and they talked about what they got. It was just fun.
Yeah.
Hello, Joey.
Joey is making his appearance on the live stream. He's been playing with the cord for like 5 minutes, and I've been trying to stop him from playing with my cord.
So anyway, then so A, you must have a goal, and B, there must be a reward. And it's the owner's responsibility to make sure that there's a game. And I want to tell you, I always had multiple games going. Like we had the trip to the Bahamas. It was, I think, 5 days and 4 nights. Um, we went to Fort Lauderdale, and everybody could bring their spouse. And we took a cruise boat over to the Bahamas. We were there. We had a dinner cruise planned in, and it was expensive. It was like, oh, back then it was like $12 or $15,000. We had the thermometer in the staff lounge, and whenever they made bonus, that went into the pot to go to the Bahamas. So that was a whole game. But then we had quarterly games like the trip to University Mall, and then we had a monthly game.
Mm-hmm.
And before I had really figured this all out, um, like the month ended like on a Tuesday, so Wednesday was the first, and my number one game player was Debbie in the office. It just always had to be fun. And by noon on Wednesday, so the first is on a Wednesday. By noon on Wednesday, she's kind of cranky, and she's being a little snippy. And so I pulled her into my office. I'm like, "Are you doing okay?" She goes, "No, I'm not doing okay." I'm like, "Well, what's happening?" She goes, "What's the game?" Now this is 4 hours into the month. 4 hours. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "Well, we had the game last month, and you didn't say what the game is this month." I'm like, "It's noon." She goes, "I know, but what's the game? I want to have a game." And so what I did is I put Debbie in charge, along with the office manager, of creating a game. So that never happened again. So they always got their heads together and they would survey the staff, because it just, I won't ever forget that story. Is like, we're 4 hours into the month. I thought I at least had until the following Monday. I mean, it's Wednesday. Don't I get like 2 or 3 days to figure this out? No. The month has started. What are we doing?
Yeah, what's happening, Doc?
What's the point? And here's what's interesting is her husband had a good job, the pension, all of that, and a great family, great marriage, and she was working for the game. She didn't have to work. And she drove 45 minutes one way to work in that office. And so it's kind of like, well, if we're not going to have a game, I don't need to be here.
Yeah.
If I'd have said, I guarantee, if I'd have said, well, this month we're not having a game, she'd just give me her key. Just like, well, if there's no game, why am I here?
Why am I driving 45 minutes?
Exactly. I'll stay home. So anyway, it's important to have a game.
So let's clarify, when it comes to this game, this goal,
Mm-hmm.
right? I talk to a lot of people and I go, oh, yeah, you have to have rewards for the staff, or you have to do this. And they instantly think of, paying the staff and then having to come up with extra money to pay for this other stuff. And then it's like, that sounds really expensive. So obviously the goal that they have to set has to take into account that it's not just like a humdrum month that everybody's taking their paycheck, and they're getting all these bonuses, that you're playing a goal, you're setting a goal. Like, let's talk about you. Okay, you spent $12,000 or $15,000 to send the staff to Fort Lauderdale and the Bahamas, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that means that year you didn't just make an extra $12,000 over the year before that you had this goal. You didn't go, okay, guys, last year we did $1 million. This year, if we do $1 million and 15,000,
Right.
we all go to the Bahamas.
Right.
Right. I mean, you probably grew 30 or 40% or more, maybe doubled,
Right.
just to go to the Bahamas.
So right, and that's a beautiful point. So there has to be the goal, and here's where goal setting, it's an art more than a formula. So you have to take a look. What I would do is I would take a look at one of our best months. And, just for argument's sake, let's say one of our best months was $50,000. So if you take that times 12, that's a $600,000 year. And I don't know, let's say we did 480. We're 120,000 short of that, or 25% short of that. So you have to look at the $50,000 month and like, okay, how did we do that? What procedures did we do? How many new patients did we get? How many days of dental hygiene? And you have to like break it all down. Like, well, could we do that 12 times? Well, absolutely. We don't need to add on to the building. We don't need to add equipment. We don't need to add staff. And it needs to be real. There's my dinner. So you have to talk now
Oh
for
no.
4 minutes. 4 minutes. The goal must be real and it must be attainable, but it has to be a stretch.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So the goal, as we said earlier, for anybody who wasn't there, Greg is out on the road. He's traveling and he is getting dinner right now. They just knocked on his door with his food. So anyway, so what we're gonna do is the goal has to be real. So what that means is the goal has to be something that can be achieved, has been proven to be able to be achieved, and is something that people are able to understand how to achieve it. So he's using the example there of, okay, so this month we did $50,000 in our business. And to do that, we sold this much of this product. We had this many new customers. We did this much advertising revenue, etc. And you figure out how do we do that every month. And then you have a staff meeting with everybody and say, okay, so this month we're going to get this many new customers. We're going to sign up this many of this. We're going to sell this many of this product. We're going to do X, Y, and Z here. And you're going to be able to then get everybody on the idea of we could do this. We can make this happen. And so you have to be able to get them to understand how it can actually be done. Greg's back. How it can actually be done, and how you can make sure that it is attainable for everybody to be able to do. So it's working out what you did on that best month and then figuring out how to go a little bit above and beyond that. So we got to accomplish this realistic, but also innovative. Exactly. So it's a realistic goal because it's been done and it can be done, but then you're also going above and beyond that. And you could even have people get with the idea of how or what they could change to be able to make that happen. I'll let you kind of hit that point there.
Right. And so I guess for me, it has to be real. Like let's say that we had done 480,000 in a year and our best month was 50. Well, 50 times 12 is 600. So you look back at the $50,000 month. How did we do this? How can we do that 12 times? So that would be real. Now I could come out and say, well, we just did 480 and there's going to be a goal of everybody gets to go on the trip if we do 1 million. Okay, so now
you're not going to get a lot of agreement that way.
No, it's just going to, well, and so then, there's this balancing act between making it too easy, setting the bar too low, setting the bar too high. And so you can set the bar high. Then what we would do is we would have a meeting, a 4-hour meeting on how we're going to do that. And we'd have it in January. So here's the goal for the year. In the first or second week of January, we would not see patients. We would go to a conference room outside the office. We're like, okay, so the hygiene department does this, and then the doctor has to do this, and then we need this many new patients, and how we're going to. And so as a group, we would come up with how everybody could chip in and contribute to hitting their part of that goal. And then all of a sudden, Eric goes, "Oh, well, that shouldn't be all that hard." And so then sometimes you have to break it down by the day. All right, in order to do 50,000 this month, and we're working, 15 days. How much we have to do every day? And then I have some offices that if they hit the bonus for the week, then everybody gets a Starbucks card. Again, a $15 Starbucks card. So I mean, that's management's job. That is management's job. It's not. It's very lazy and very much not being a leader to say, okay, guys, here's the goal. We do 600,000. Last year we did 480. We do 600,000, and everybody gets $100 at the end of the year. So, okay, that's terrible. And then not helping them figure it out, how that's real, how it's possible. That's terrible. And so it has to be a goal that's real. There has to be a reward that everybody can get excited about. And let me talk about that for a second. The reward that everybody get excited about. It took us when we were planning this trip. I think it took us a month to figure out where we were going to go. Some people wanted to go to Hawaii. Well, that was going to cost a gazillion dollars to take, significant others and the whole staff to Hawaii. And then somebody wanted to go to Hilton Head and somebody go to Disney World. And so we did not settle on the Bahamas until everybody was in agreement on the Bahamas. And so it had to be 100% everybody was in agreement. And I had a friend of mine who played this game, and I don't remember what the goal was, but he didn't do this step, and he didn't get and it was a trip, and he didn't get everybody's agreement, and so they won at somewhere around the beginning of December, and then one of the staff members asked if they could just have the money, and then another one asked, "Well, can I just have the money?" And so it's like, then he's like, "Well, what do I do if I tell them no?" They worked. And it was a disaster. And he was all ticked off. This is supposed to be fun and motivating. And I think he ended up going, but with half the staff. I mean, it was a disaster. But see,
that's that's the agreement perspective. You have to have everybody's agreement to do
that's right.
a particular goal or
right.
have a particular thing that they want to work towards.
Right.
And if as soon as any of that agreement deviates, then it just starts a whole spiral effect.
Yeah, it was a mess. And so, but that's on him. That's on him because he just didn't set it up right from the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
and I'll also say a pitfall that I ran into with goals and stuff like that, right? So the goal has to change and evolve as time goes on. So, if you have a monthly goal that you pay bonuses off of, because I know you probably also had a bonus system. So every month they could make an extra little bit of money here, money there, whatever it is. It has to change as the company changes. Meaning I ran into an office once. This was a dental practice I had met a few years ago. And I remember meeting with the owner and we're going over financials and something just does not keep adding up about the financials of this practice because there should be a chunk of money around. I'm like, if you're doing this much and you have this many staff and this is going on, well, it turns out they had instituted a bonus system like 2 or 3 years ago and nobody changed it. And so the practice had gotten much bigger. And so it turns out that the staff were hitting bonus levels basically every month. But the bonus level was probably $30,000 less than what it should have been.
Yep.
So the doctor's not making any money because all the staff are making bonus every month and he can't pay himself. I'm like, the point of a goal is not to pay your staff extra money. The point of the goal is to expand the business, meaning 3 years ago, yes, that amount of money was a good month. Now you're going backwards. So the goal has to change.
Yep.
You got a question there in the comments.
Yeah, I see Jack. So would you focus on pleasing the anomaly, meaning the outlier who disagrees, or the majority when making a decision like that? Now, that's a great question. And let me give you.
And we have to give your answer because my answer would have to be censored off of YouTube. So we'll let you go ahead.
So, see, and we can do another video on 20% of the staff are going to cause trouble. So, and 20% of your customers are going to cause trouble. That's the 80-20 rule. But let's just assume that the person who's disagreeing is not a 20% constant troublemaker, not a Debbie Downer, the glass is always half empty, the sky is falling. Let's just assume that. So I told you my main game player was Debbie, and she scheduled the patients. She was responsible for that, keeping the schedule full. And so everybody had decided, like, the office manager made the announcement that the trip was going to be a cruise. I think cruises are great. You got entertainment, you've got gambling, you've got shows, you have all the food you can eat at the buffet, and everybody's excited except Debbie. And this is happening in the staff meeting. It was just announced, okay, we finally decided we're going on a cruise. And Debbie's just sitting there, kind of like.
And Debbie's your number one game player, right?
The number one game player, and the person who's going to control the appointment book so that we achieve the game. And she's the only one in the room that's not happy. I'm like, wait a minute, wait. Everybody, Debbie, what's the matter? She goes, nothing. Okay.
Oh, well, if she said nothing was wrong, then nothing was wrong,
then
right?
Nothing was wrong, right? Exactly. And I know everybody watching this is smiling right now. If you're a girl, you go, hell yeah, there's something wrong. And if you're a guy, you go, see, she said nothing. What are you worried about?
Nothing was wrong. Cruises are fine.
So during the staff meeting, I'm like, so why are you not happy about this? And it took 2 or 3 times. Okay, you want to hear this? Debbie gets seasick.
Oh.
So Debbie is going to schedule and work for, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 12 months, because we didn't get to go on the trip until the trip was paid for. So she's supposed to work hard so she can throw up for 4 days. That's not happening. And so I'm like, okay, everybody back to the drawing board. And she's like, no, doctor, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I'll be fine. I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
Yep.
I said, you're not going to work all year so you can throw up for 4 days. That's exactly what I said. So what they did is they got their heads together, and you can get to the Bahamas by plane, or you can get to the Bahamas by boat. So what they did is they compromised, and we landed in Fort Lauderdale and took a boat to the Bahamas there and a boat home. And on the boat, I don't remember, it was 4 or 5 hours. They had dancing and entertainment and gambling and all the food you could eat. And so Debbie made that compromise. And so
now, what would you do in the case of the client that you mentioned who one person wanted cash, then a second person wanted cash, then he started pulling his hair out?
Well, the genie is out of the bottle at that point. You've opened Pandora's box. That was just a disaster. So the point is, I would have had the same disaster. I mean, just think about this. So Debbie finally wins, and now she's confronting having to throw up for 4 days. And she's going to come up and say, doctor, can't I just have the money? I mean, After all, I'm the one that scheduled all this. So I'm just saying, to Jack's point. Now, if you have somebody that doesn't want to play that game, they're not interested in that game, we have to change the game. Now, Jack, if this person doesn't want to play any game, then you have the wrong person.
They're gone.
So that would be Neil's answer in a politically correct manner.
Yeah, don't take hiring advice from me because it'll probably create some sort of a legal situation. Please get advice from your attorney. But yeah, if somebody's not willing to play the game that the rest of the team is trying to play, then they don't belong on the team. And, that is the bottom line. I mean, how many, not to get too far off into sports again, but it's just an easy thing to talk about when we're talking about games and goals and growth and all that stuff. But I mean, how many amazing superstar athletes can't stay on one team because they want everything to go their way?
Yeah.
Right? Like there's some very talented players in all sports that only want to do things the way that they want them to be done. So they just keep going from place to place and from team to team, and nobody wants them around
Yeah.
because it's all about me, me, me. Now, the reverse side of that is Michael Jordan, who wanted greatness and wanted a certain thing, but he made sure everybody had the same vision that he had.
Mhm.
And if you didn't have the same vision as him, then you were gone. But
Yep.
he was like, we're going to hit the championship every year and we're going to win every year, which is a lot different from a lot of these athletes who are like, you know, it's all about how the way they want to do it. And then they just go from team to team to team and they're not leaders at that
Yeah.
point. That's the difference between somebody who has a purpose, who's a leader, and somebody who's a purpose for themselves. And
Hmm.
so if you hire somebody who only has a purpose for themselves, which is it's 9 o'clock, so I clock in, and it's 5 o'clock, so I clock out, and you say, hey, can you handle this before you leave? And they go, well, it's 5 o'clock, I have to go home. That's not going to work out. They're not going to play any game to go anywhere.
And so I really did have the ideal crew. I really
Mm-hmm.
did, because they all wanted to be there. They all loved their job. They all loved working for me. I'm trying to think now. I think there were four. I think there were four of the 6 or 7 staff that drove from outside the county. So they drove past out how many dental offices to work in my office because we had fun. And and so you have to put together this core team that wants to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to the owner to create that culture and to create that morale. And so if there's somebody around that is causing that to go down, then that person is going to have to go.
And also, I'd say, as far as goals go, I'm just thinking of this as we're talking about it. Not every goal has to be a financial goal. That's the
Right.
other thing that we should talk about as far as a group goes or whatever. It's not always like, well, the business has to make this much money and that is our goal. The goal could be, we want to be the top insurance broker in our town. Okay.
Hmm.
There's obviously a financial goal behind that, but that's not your goal. Your
Hmm.
goal is to have the best service, the best accounts, and maybe there's some sort of a statistic that insurance companies have of, number of customers retained or whatever. I don't know. I'm
Right.
making stuff up here, but if I had a coffee shop, obviously I want to have the most amount of money I can make in my coffee shop, but I also want to have 500 5-star reviews. And I want to have, you know, the only coffee shop in town that makes its pastries in house and doesn't bring them in from some bakery from Tampa. There's different goals. Uh, I want to have a coffee shop and I'm going to roast coffee. So then you grow the coffee shop and now you have a roaster. And now the goal is we want to have 50 accounts that we supply with our coffee in town. The goal can change beyond just like, okay, guys, this month we're making this much money. I,
Right. But then as that growth produces the money to pay for the reward.
correct.
And one
Correct.
other thing, because we're getting near the end of our 45
Well,
minute
you
allotment
have your
here.
dinner waiting for you.
I do, but I do have a microwave in the room, so I'm okay. um, so it's like, well, how do you budget for this? You're going to have to sit down with your profit and loss statement, maybe get an accountant, put a spreadsheet together or something. And every industry has its own little nuances, but what I suggest you do is try to keep your staff cost in the 25 to 30% range. In most industries, you can make that work. If your staff cost is at 50%, and I understand, I don't know, I might get some haters in the comment on this, but there are some industries where the staff cost is going to be 50% or more, a lot of independent contractors or whatever. But I guess the point here is that you can dial in a percentage that, you know, you hit the 600,000 and for the year, people get a reward, but then you can give them, let's say, 5 or 6 or 7% that they can split up of everything over 600,000. Then that can be cash. Or so the goal has to be able, once you achieve it, like if you have a $600,000 goal and you hit it on November the 1st, Here to tell you, brothers and sisters, you better have another goal to play by the end of the year.
Yeah,
Or
because November and December you're going to lose all your profit because you're going to go
exactly. So you're at
backwards.
600,000 November 1st, and on December 31st, you're going to be at 620.
Yeah.
So, so that's the other aspect of this. And so you have to have a percentage. And I knew my percentages, and I'm pretty good with a spreadsheet. And so get somebody to help you figure it out. And you're not going to lose money on this if you really take a look at the profit and loss statement and figure out hitting this goal is going to create this much money, and then I'm willing to give the staff a certain percentage of that. And then
Exactly.
take a look at like if I give the staff 5%, I got 95% left over. That works for me. Now I understand there's going to be cost of goods sold, like the lab bill and the supplies and the rent, all that stuff. But at any rate,
Yeah.
you should have the goal continue to carry on if there is a particular time period. So we called it a jackpot. So we had the goal, and then there was jackpot bonus that came after we hit it.
Yeah. And you can have little goals, you can have bigger goals. It's totally up to you. When
Yep.
you have a team of really good individuals that work well together, try and do the goals to be together.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with a group where if we hit certain targets and things like that, then, we had movie nights, food catered in, going out to restaurants.
Yeah.
One time, there was a small group of us, 5 or 6 of us in the main sales department at a company I was with, and we crushed it 1 month or 1 quarter, I don't remember it was. And the boss came upstairs and was like, "Hey, you guys are off for the rest of the day." It was like 10:30. We weren't expecting this. It was like a Thursday or Friday. It's like, "Hey, you guys are off, but before you can go home and watch movies and play video games, you have to go down to St. Petersburg, and there's a restaurant over there. You have a reservation. It's all taken care of. Go have lunch, and then you can go do whatever you want." So then we all piled into our cars, ran out of the office, went down to have dinner
That's
and,
awesome.
have lunch and all that kind of stuff. And then we had the rest of the day off, and it was like, we weren't expecting that. So you can
Right.
do little stuff like
Fun
that,
things.
fun stuff that
Yep.
keeps everybody excited. But the point of all of this is it fuels growth for you. You as the owner make more money, but you also create an actual team of individuals working underneath you,
Mm-hmm.
because they have a lot more on the line than just clocking in and clocking out. And it creates dedication and loyalty to the other people within the business. And I'll tell you, when you do that, your staff will not accept unqualified people hired coming into that group.
Yep.
Because if they don't belong there, they'll tell you, "Hey, this person's got to go," and you don't question it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they don't belong,
Yeah.
and it will make
They're
life
gone.
easier. Yeah.
Yep. And just one final story just
Yeah.
crossed my mind. So I have an acquaintance. I wouldn't say friend. We're friendly. Um, but he started the company Know Before, and maybe you've heard of Know Before, but they do online training for staff in companies so that the staff don't allow malware and spam
It's a
in
cybersecurity company, training
cybersecurity.
company.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I met the owner. His name is Stu Schauerman. He's from Amsterdam, and he'd already been successful in business. And so I had a friend introduce me he just started his company Know Before, and I remember very clearly. It was July of 2014, and I met Stu. He's a nice guy. I'm sitting here. It's kind of like this big room with 10 people sitting in it, and I talked to my friend. I was leaving. Says, "Is this guy going to make it?" He goes, "Oh, this guy will make it. I guarantee you," because he'd already built one company. So that was July of 2014. 10 staff. Now they ended last year at 1,000 staff with $1 billion valuation. So what kind of a Christmas party do you throw for 1,000 people? Well, we're in Tampa. He rents out Universal Studios for the night.
Yep.
So the 1,000 people get to grab their significant other, and
It ends up being like 6,000 people.
Yeah, by the time everybody bring
Yeah.
the kids and all, and
Yeah.
it's all like the food, the rides, the whole thing, and it's a big event. Believe me, it is definitely earned like some altitude and some reputation in the community. But isn't that cool? I mean, I've been told, I think this is pretty accurate. It's about $500,000 to rent out Universal for an evening. But I mean, I'm just saying that is so cool. I mean, how great would it be to be able to do that for 5 or 6 thousand people, 1,000 of your employees? It's like they love him, the people who work there, and so this is. I'm just trying to give you some examples of like how to apply
So,
this.
so what
It's
you're saying
important.
is you can have blizzards from Dairy Queen, or you can rent out Universal Studios.
Exactly. And that's the difference between working in a billion-dollar company and a dental office. So if you want to work for a boss that's going to rent out Universal Studios, don't work for a dentist.
Yeah, don't expect that to be
The
the
norm.
bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah, I just had a silly trip to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hey, not bad at all. Not
not
bad at
bad,
all.
not
Yeah,
bad.
not bad at all.
All right, well, this
So,
has been fun.
yeah, go eat your
One last
dinner.
crack. Yeah, one last crack at any comments. Anything
Well,
else anybody want to throw out here?
so what I will say is remember, because we did start this 46 minutes ago and I announced it on Wednesday of this week. We're launching a YouTube video at 9 a.m., I believe. That is going to kick off a subscriber giveaway. Um, it is, we've reached 4,000 subscribers, and a year ago we were at 700.
Mhm.
So we did a giveaway a year ago when we were at like 400 and we were trying to get to 500 subscribers or something like that.
Exactly. That's right.
So we're like, wow, it's been a year. We haven't done a giveaway. We've hit 4,000 subs. So what we're doing is there will be multiple ways for you to earn entries through a website that we have set up. It'll say, hey, watch this video or download a book or go here, sign up for our newsletter. And each action you complete earns you entries towards winning a signed copy of Greg's book, Fun at Work, a signed copy of Profit First, as well as 2 online training courses that we have valued around $350 called How to Control Your Income and How to Sell Anything, and a 30-minute consultation with us. So that is our giveaway for reaching 4,000 subscribers. That goes live Wednesday. You can enroll. You can even share the enrollment link with your friends. And when they enroll, you earn points. We're trying to grow our channel. And we also want to thank everybody for, watching uh, us who think we know everything talk about business. But it's just a way of us doing something for you guys. So Wednesday, it should be at 9 a.m. The video goes live. That is usually when the videos go live. I'm just checking
And then they'll
here.
have, what is it, 9 or 10 days to do their entries?
Yeah, it's gonna go from this Wednesday to next Friday. We'll do like a live on air drawing
Okay.
where we find out who the winner is.
Yeah, we'll let
So
we'll let Joey pull the winning ticket out of a fishbowl.
yeah, exactly. If I put some sausage in there, he'll definitely find that. Um,
If you missed it, Joey is Neil's new kitty. He's
and he
hilarious.
he gets in the sink and he does all kinds of stuff. And he just ate a bunch of sausage tonight that I apparently didn't wrap well enough. So anyway, uh,
And the other thing I
so
want to throw in is you. I think you've had the banner going. I haven't been paying too much attention. Our
yeah,
Adventure to Profit
mhm,
course is how you can work with us. So, yep, there we go. Thank you, Neil. So, if you want to apply to work with us, there is an application. So, we make sure that there's a good fit. Go to adventuretoprofit.com, fill out the application, and let's see if we can work together.
exactly. So we will see you all next Monday. I do have a potential guest lined up to come in next Monday. It would be me and this guest.
All right.
Greg will still be on the road potentially, so maybe
Yep.
give him a night off. But anyway, we will see you all next Monday. Be sure you tune in Wednesday at 9 a.m. to find out how you can enter the giveaway that we're doing. And other than that, we will see you next time. Thank you all so very much. Please hit that thumbs up button, the like button there on whichever platform it is that you're watching this on. That does help us a lot, believe it or not. And again, thank you all for watching for the last 50 minutes. We have a lot of fun, and we will see you next Monday. Good night.